Welcome to Independently United, the online news source for independent artists and their online communities. Hot off the press today, singer-songwriter Liane Scholz announces monthly video releases for 2014. Joining us to tell us more about this is Liane via satellite communication now. Can you hear me, Liane? It's a pleasure to have you on the show. So, tell us more about the monthly video uplinks you've announced for your fans. Well, I've been batting around this idea of doing an audio podcast once a month just to stay in touch more with my fan base, which I think is something every independent artist strives to do more of. But then there's also always this conflict that as soon as you invest time in promoting yourself, that takes time away from creating actual art. And then there's this second notion that you also want to always encourage your friends who are artists, whether they're in the same genre or just completely and utterly different styles. So you want to support one another, and that of course takes a lot of time to sit and not only listen to other music or watch other works of art, but then to sit down and do a review of them. And so I thought maybe I could combine the two in sort of a monthly video podcast, broadcast, whatever we want to call it. So does that mean we can expect a monthly artist feature? Not really. I feel that there's already a lot of online outlets that sort of do the artist feature of the month or artist of the week. I see. So I don't mean to duplicate what's already out there. What I mean to do is give a heads up to different fan bases of artists that I associate with of what that artist is doing that month or has just done or shows that are coming up. A quick example. Emily Ragazzino, visual artist and creative writer, perhaps best known for the Tomboy Terror comics, launched her new homepage this week. You can learn all about Emily and her work there, and furthermore, you can get a really good example at a professional yet creative website. That sounds fascinating. But news and updates for the fans are just one aspect of the monthly video releases. We also want to share information, tips and tools for independent artists, and ultimately feel like we're not all alone out there. That sounds great, Liane, and thank you for joining us. And that about wraps it up for news for the January 2014 segment of Independently United. But please stay tuned as we're moving on to a segment we like to call An Educated Defense. Let's take a moment to talk about critique. Whether you're a professional musician, professional artist, or a professional chef, I'm sure we all get it. And the problem isn't critique. Educated critique is a great tool. It's how we learn, we move forward and progress. The problem is the uneducated critique going out there. And people seem to think that whatever they say, whatever their tastes are, that's a valid reason to attack someone. And it really, really isn't. There is only one thing I found that really works with an uneducated critique, and that is to give an educated defense. So when people tell me that I don't always sing on the beat, like this is a revelation to me, like after nearly 30 years of musical study, I don't know where the beat is. Thank you. The point is, they don't know, apparently, that I'm deliberately missing the beat. They are not as educated on the subject as I am. So when I'm told that I sing off beat or play off beat, the best comeback I've figured out is to say I like to use a technique called rubato, which is the pulling away from the beat. And well, that's my best advice I have. Educate. But they think you're making a mistake. Say, no, I'm doing it deliberately. And in fact, a great piece of advice I once got from an old jazz teacher was that if you do make a mistake, just do it again. Do it loud, and everyone will assume it's deliberate. So, not everyone seems to catch on to what is deliberate and what is not. So say it, no, that's deliberate. I sometimes sing off the beat. It's and you know what works even better? Make him feel good that they caught that. Don't make him feel like an idiot. Be like, yeah, it's not, most people don't notice that. That's rubato. So, an educated defense brought to you this month by the term rubato. Have a great month. And now, a word from our management. Tips and tools. Tips and tools for musicians. I think first and foremost we have to put the internet on that list, and while I could probably spend hours on that subject, let's just start with a home base. I see a lot of artists, whether they're musicians or painters or whatnot, trying to promote themselves through the internet, and we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, you name it, you'll find us. And that's great, but I feel like not everyone has sort of this home base to return to. My home base is lianeshomestudio.wix.com/Liane Scholz. Is that awkward and cumbersome? Yes. Would it be nice if it was just lianescholz.com? Yes, it was. Am I willing to spend $100 just on that? No, I am not. Because quite frankly, most of my promotion I do over the internet anyway. So I sent the link and people click on the link. People are not going to remember what the actual email is. It's like phones. Before we all had speed dial, we remembered everybody's phone number. Now, I don't know anyone's phone number, but because I just clicked the button. So does the domain name matter that much? There are a lot of articles on the internet that say, yes, it does. I say it does not. So that's another thing we'll find over the internet, right? Is contradicting information. So ultimately, go with what works for you. Now, the reason I'm at Wix.com in particular is because I like the way that you can embed the SoundCloud players and you can embed the YouTube players right into your page, have as many as you want, as many pages as you want. It's really quite flexible, and it's flexible in the way that I personally need it to be flexible. Not everybody likes that. Some people don't want to mess around. They just want a cut and dry layout. Well, you actually can also use layouts over Wix's, but my idea here isn't to promote Wix. It's saying that look at the free service and choose. What do you need? You know, I imagine that somebody trying to exhibit their sculptures online has very different needs to an individual like myself trying to exhibit music online. So see what meets your needs and have that home base. Twitter, Bandcamp, Reverb Nation, Facebook, all great things to have links leading from your home website, but the problem is they don't necessarily link together very well. Just because I have somebody on Twitter doesn't mean I necessarily have their SoundCloud profile and their Facebook profile and their, you know, I know you can add links. However, you can't add all links. You can't add unlimited links, and that's what's key about your home website. Make it yours, make it what you're about, your music, your message, you. Alright? So, home base, vitally important. Doesn't mean you should stop Twittering. It just means that there should be somewhere for your Twitter friends to explore you further. Find everywhere else that is available, that you're available on the internet. And it's the sort of place that, you know, it's a one-stop, all shop. Anyway, cheerio. Sometimes you just have to rant. I think at some point in our lives we've all heard somebody somewhere speak those three little words, that's not music. And I don't know about you, but my first impression when I hear those words is that the speaker is an idiot. Maybe that makes me judgmental. Maybe it's the fact that that phrase, that's not music, is only ever uttered when there is in fact music playing or being played. I mean, you never hear of someone going up to a construction worker and shouting over the jackhammer, "That's not music," to make it clear that that rhythm is not a music, or point out to a cop directing traffic that they're not directing music. It only ever gets uttered around music, and it's a very insulting phrase, yes, but I think ultimately it reveals so much about the commenter and nothing at all about the music, which again, the phrase only comes up when music is being played. So if you hear somebody say that phrase, I guarantee you that you are in fact, or somebody near you is in fact making music. And please don't ever utter that phrase because it makes you look foolish. So that's my rant on the phrase, "That's not music." Take it with a grain of salt. What I've personally learned from crowd reviews is that you've got to take everything with a grain of salt, particularly on the internet. Haters will hate. It seems that there are some people who specifically use the internet to get out their personal frustrations and just vent them on innocent people who are just trying to share their art online. And so what I've done is I've taken a piece of music of mine and I've juxtaposed the worst and the best reviews, and you'll notice that people are saying the exact opposite from one another. So you just got to focus on the people, what the people like your art are saying, because that's your audience right there. That's your fan base, and just sort of ignore the rest of the world, because like I say, can't please everybody. So for every person who hates your music or who hates your art, there's a person out there who loves your music and who loves your art. And it's important to sort of start developing a selective ear, because again, the hate, it tends to come from an uneducated audience. So, educate them, but please focus on the good news that's coming. Here goes my track, Always, and the best and the worst.
Always, always and forever, I know we'll be together, you and I. Always. It seems our hearts were tethered, and nothing we can't weather side by side. What change may come, sun turn to rain. I know my heart will say the same. You're a haven in the storm we call our life. Always, it seems our hearts were tethered, and nothing we can't weather side by side. Always, always and forever, I know we'll be together, you and I.
Back to the studio. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you even more for watching all the way through. Just a reminder, there'll be a new video out the first Friday of every month, and that any artist noted within the videos, the information, the link to their website, will always be right in the information underneath the video on the YouTube channel. So no matter where you see it posted, if you want to know more about the artists mentioned, please go to trace it back to YouTube and find the information there. You will also always find the information on my own website, which is lianshomestudio.wix.com/Liane Scholz. Again, Thank you for joining us. I hope we all had fun, and I hope we all learned a little too. Rock on, have a beautiful, creative month, and we will see you in February.
Outtakes.
Welcome to the January edition of Independently United, an online video news forum. Ludwig, you need to stop wrecking my takes. What's that noise, they ask? It's the pig. It's the pig. Who is it? Who is it? Who's wrecking Mommy's takes? Blue is wrecking Mommy's takes. What do you say? That's what I thought. Anything else? What do you say? Gonna be a good pig now? Better be a good pig now.